Alright guys, hello and welcome back to Raging Loop. It's time to kill someone. Let's go. That thought was my last before my consciousness faded. I jumped up, throwing the blanket to the side. Why was I asleep? Didn't I have something to do as a wolf? I could feel myself turn pale as I realized I just made a huge mistake. But the next moment I noticed something that terrified me in a whole different way. There was something next to my legs. Unable to understand what was what, I let fear take control and pathetically backed away. Nothing was happening. I reached into my bed and took out a flashlight I got from the convenience store and turned it on. Have you ever seen that little item screen? Probably. Just not a lot. What the hell was this? It looked like the parts of a costume. Particularly the kind used in action hero shows. No, that didn't seem right either. It was like some traditional ritual clothing. Bracers, tabi, straw zori, a faded kimono, and a hakama. All of it smelled awful, like half-dried laundry being boiled. That does sound awful. There's something that stood out more than the rest. It was a kimono underskirt with some blurry sutra-like text on it. There was another piece of cloth with similar text on it, and it was connected to something weird. Oh, was this? Damn, we gotta cosplay being a wolf when we kill. A mask? Oh, this is the gift that lets us walk around so the corruption doesn't kill us at night. Okay, so you need to wear this. I get it. That actually looks kind of cool. Right, that thing had told us to wear this. We were supposed to put this on and cleanse ourselves. The bad smell made me really apprehensive. Couldn't wash it before giving it to us. Didn't they have the order on? Didn't cleanse come before putting on some sacred clothing? That reminded me that I hadn't cleansed myself before sleeping. Wasn't that bad? Remembering the situation, I checked the time again. The phone I charged up with a battery showed that it was 10 o'clock. Great Lord Shanai had momentarily put me to sleep to bring this thing here. What if I hadn't woken up? Man, were they treading on a fine line here. That aside, if they have the power to put you to sleep, I'm sure they can, wake you up. I was basically being told to put this on and go outside. I gathered my resolve. Oh god, that looked spooky. Was this good enough? Though the light was poor, there were fewer pieces than I thought, so I could put it on without much trouble. Also, you can't really, identify them, at least. Well, maybe by voice or whatever. And I guess just by body shape, but... Dude, imagine, Hashimoto with this on. It was unexpectedly well designed, and from what I could tell, it was hand-sewn. The mane, did the wolves even have those, seemed to be made of rice straw. Okay. It didn't seem cheap at all, though I couldn't be sure. It seemed to be designed to look divinely imposing. The mask seemed to be a wooden carving with insane amounts of detailed work put into it, a true masterpiece. By the time I put it on, I didn't care much about the smell. It wasn't hard to move in or anything. The inscribed cloth on the bottom was connected to the belt. I put it on like it was a traditional grass skirt, and it wasn't a big hindrance for running or anything else. The cloth connected to the mask hid the face at some kind of stagehands clothing, and I could only see ahead through the gaps between them. The wolf-like mask itself was simply resting on my forehead. As I put it all on, I found a bucket and a ladle among the items. It was full of water, and I knew I had to cleanse myself with this. I was a bit apprehensive about this, but I took out some water and poured it on my head. It jumped off the rice straws, making my shoulders wet or spreading across the area. Was I doing it right? I was still worried, but just putting it on was meaningless, so I put my hand on the door and sensed something bad outside. It wasn't anything vague like bloodlust or evil mojo. It was sounds I could actually hear. I heard grass being parted. I heard the sounds of something walking through the sand. Shallow breathing, low growls, distant roars of malice. It reminded me of the time I was locked in the outhouse and I sensed something bestial outside. This was exactly the same as last time. There was something outside. Lots of them, in fact. Last time I'd only survived because I held the door shut when something was about to open it. And I had to go outside this time? I'd be okay just because I was wearing this? No way. It seemed like a sick joke. Oh, but I really wanted to see it. What a familiar sensation. Just then the doorknob clattered.
久石さん起きてるの
Well, Haru's out and about, so it's safe enough. I still heard beasts outside, but the voice clearly belonged to a girl, Haru Makashima.
はるちゃん、
気安く呼ばないでくださいよ。
安全なの？
ちゃんと路面つけてみそぎしてれば。
Was she telling the truth? Brother, she's outside. Was it really her outside? I guess that's a possibility. Even if it was some sort of illusion, if I didn't open, my presence in this flow of events would be pointless. I fired myself up and unlocked the door.
うわ、
Yeah, I guess there wasn't a mirror. The moment I opened the door, I saw a short wolf that scared me like hell.
うるさいなあ。
はるちゃんで間違いない？
そうですよ。ほら。
She moved the cloth covering her face, and sure enough, it was Haru-chan. She was clad in a wolf outfit and had the bucket and ladle in her hands.
あなたもそれ持たなきゃ。
これ持ち運ぶの？
うん。常に巻かないと。
Oh. She took some from her bucket and spread it behind her. That action was followed by squealing sounds. I felt something squirm and run off.
何がいるの？
Corruption repellent, holy water.
汚れの運び手。
She spit some more water. This time on me.
冷た。何すんの？うわ！
She repeated it a couple times with great intensity to boot.
何って全然みそぎしてないじゃないですか。
We poured some on our face. On our
そんな
mask.
に全身びしょびしょにならないとまずいの？
As if she felt that explaining it was pointless, she just touched a cloth near her waist. Sure enough, it was completely wet.
一つ聞いていいかな？
何？
それが正しいやり方だとして、なぜそれを知ってる？
Good question.
なぜかな。わかる。
Well, not a great answer, but okay.
何か隠してない？
隠してないですよ。
同じ狼なら隠し事は？
何が不安なの？
Those words shut me up.
まあ、気持ちはわかるけど、私はもう落ち着いたから、あなたもすぐ慣れるよ。と思いますよ。
わかった。
I wasn't satisfied, but I backed down anyway.
ところでデスマス言葉、慣れてないなら普通でいいよ。
慣れ慣れしくしないでください。行きましょう。香織さん、待ってるし。
Yeah, the chasm between us was wide. Or maybe Chimi and Ritato-san were just too easy. Apparently, Haru-chan had walked through the mist without any light. I took out my small
何
flashlight
それ？かっこいい。
and was met with a weird reaction.
あげるよ。一応、二つあるし。
I had prepared them in case I ended up running away with someone at night. I sure as hell hadn't expected to be a wolf, though.
嘘。いいの？
暗いと危ない。ちなみにどうやって来たの？
安水の道なんて覚えてるし。
That made sense. Made sense, exactly. It was dangerous regardless though, so I just gave her one and showed her how to use it.
ただ、みんなにバレないようにね。夜出歩いてるなんてバレたら大変だ。
True.
そうですね。わかった。
She spread some water then put the ladle back and took the flashlight.
代わりに時々撒いてください。
She led me through the dark path. I could barely see anything, but I did sense something bestial in the darkness. It was clearly hostile towards us, and several of them were surrounding us from a distance. However, they didn't come any closer. They also backed away if I spread some water. The flashlight could barely make it through the mist, so it didn't help to see anything in the distance. It was pretty useless, to be honest, but Haru-chan seemed to like it. She also swung it around like a sword, or rather, a lightsaber. What were these bringers of corruption anyway? Actual Japanese wolves, perhaps? Those are not normal wolves, brother. Every now and then, I saw eyes light up in the mist. Besides that, I heard growls and the sound of something stepping in the sand. Dods, right? That had to be it. Yeah, Shimizu was completely full of dods right now. That expression made it seem adorable. But, seriously? No way. If my assumption was right, this situation was way scarier than some simple supernatural phenomenon. Listen, they're obviously just not normal wolves, because normal wolves wouldn't be scared by water. Holy water. I continued spreading water, too much of it, all the way there. What if they run out? They're just bones? Both of the same stature as Kaori-san stood up from the chair in the dining hall. It was very surreal.
不妻子です。香織さんですよね。
ええ、ちょっと心配したわ。
もう着替えてて出るところだったみたい。
差し支えなかった？
ええ、なんとか。香織さんも段取りはご承知だったのですか？
ええ、どうしてか分かっていたわ。不思議だけど、あの時新内様にそう伺ってから。
あれ、3人いましたよね。新内様って3人いるんですか？
それはよくわからないけれど。
Could be an imposter.
昼記者の人が言ってたでしょ。新内様は狼様だって。だから私らは狼様から直接加護を授かったってこと。
That made sense though.
それで君らは納得するんだ。
だって見たじゃないですか。
Right. That strange experience did actually seem supernatural. People tended to accept anything they could see.
では行きましょうか。
Well, shouldn't we talk about who we're killing?
どこにです？
殺しに。
Wait, what?
香織さん、誰殺すか決めないと。
True.
ああ、そうだったわ。つい気が流行っちゃって。
今日の宴の感じ見たらやっぱおじいちゃんじゃないかな。
Yeah, but if they have a good spider, they're gonna protect them.
匠さんも危ないと思うわ。
Tatami is a good choice, not wrong.
待ってください。二人とも本気ですか？
I feel like there's some sort of brainwashing, but maybe because Haruaki's not from the village, it doesn't affect him for some reason, or maybe because of the time looping powers.
何が？
肉親を殺すんだぞ。あんた、息子のことが惜しくないのか？
She twitched and tilted in an unnatural way. Freaky deaky.
知ってますとも。
We did get those two kind of unhinged characters.
惜しくないわけがないでしょ。でも仕方ないじゃない。新内様の言う通りにしなきゃ。
香織さん、
君もだ、はるちゃん。 安永君やモッチーのことを殺していいのか？
Shouldn't you say, do you really want to kill your grandfather? Because she literally just suggested that.
それは嫌だけど。じゃあどうすればいいのよ。3人で逃げ出すとでも？
That really wasn't the way to go. We'd get lost or killed by the monsters. The mist would just send me back to square one. Well, actually, that poses an interesting question. I know the corruption kills if you break the rules, but what if we just like brought the water buckets and tried to escape? That would ward off the corruption, so maybe we could get out. Not 100% sure, but I feel like that's worth trying. All I could do here was pick one or the other. Massacre, kill no one. You know what? Let's just be nice. This is gonna give us a bad ending.
殺人なんてすべきじゃない。
Let's just get it out of the way.
やめないか？
The rule was 1 kill per night, just like with the humans, that was a limit. Basically, we couldn't kill 2 or more, but there was no rule about not killing at all. Was there not a rule? I thought it would... Oh. Thankfully, we had the perfect situation for that.
香織さん、しっかりするんだ。これは信託でも何でもない。何かひどく悪質な陰謀です。
Brother, you're delusional if you don't think this is supernatural at all.
それに従えばあなたは絶対に後悔する。あなたの体がそれを証明してしまっているでしょう。そんなに震えてまともに喋れなくなってまで神内明神の眷属という役割にこだわる必要はないんです。幸い匠さんはこちらが殺さない限り向こうも殺さないという体制を作って
But
くれ
then
て
the
います。
mist won't ever leave.
僕らが殺さなければ殺し合いは起こらない。
本当に本当なの？
ええ、互いに手を出さない限りはその間に解
So
決
this
策を
would...
探れるは
This
ずで
is
す。
smart if this works.
もちろんこの状況で正体を明かさずに信頼関係を維持
It's
する
one
の
way
は
of getting a good
並大抵
ending
の
with
こと
no
じゃ
one
ない。
dying.
でも息子を殺すよりはあなたはきっと前向きに望めるんじゃないですか。
それはそうよ。もちろんだわ。
I did it. Well, there's still one more wolf. Yasumitsu's laws were an absolute. I just proved it. Or so I thought. I felt a light impact on my side, and when blood started pouring out, I thought I was living out some sick joke. A moment later, my consciousness quickly began to fade, making me once again realize that death could come out of nowhere. As I collapsed on my back, my eyes met with those of the smallish wolf, Haru-chan. Even through the cloth, I could tell they were cold, stern, and full of disgust and hatred for powerless vermin.
やっぱりよそ者はダメだわ。
Yeah, that's why you don't celebrate too early, when you're only halfway there. The words were even colder than the encroaching shadow of death.
山の掟は絶対だというのに。
In her hand, she had a bloody grass sickle.
香織さんは分かってるよね。
My vision soon faded completely.
兄ちゃんもよし君も私たちが楽にしてあげないといけない。
At first, I felt the taste of blood fill my mouth, but even that was gone now.
それが私らの使命だって。
I couldn't feel warmth or cold anymore.
いやよ。そんなの。
じゃあいい。死ね。
Well, you're boned, Haru. Anyways, 2 wolves died. I don't even know if corruption would kill her for this. But she's not winning anyways. We saved the village. Kinda. I stopped hearing whatever they were up to, and my consciousness faded. I realized that I'd failed. Man, the wolves this time were just awful. Well, I mean, Kaori wanted to not kill. 18. Irrational Purge. I wonder if the locked option will... I wonder if the massacre option's done also. Unlock 17 then. And it's just a double locking. I will watch the hint corner. See what the sheep is up to. Still smoking, I assume. Yeah, he's chill. He's chilling. Oh, is this impossible? You just spoiled the other option kills. Maybe.
今回のバッドエンド21題してぬくみのかけらもない春の一撃でおさむく死亡についてだがシナリオチャートにもある通り今回手に入ったキー18だけじゃ鍵はこれまで何度かあったパターン同様無茶な
Yeah, it's forced deaths.
ためにはまともな話し合いを一通りする必要がある
Boo. Though, to be fair, I chose this thinking we would die anyways, so.
暗黒の前科無科選べだつうとこで今回はここまで次も元気に死んでこい
He's just a chill sheep, man. He's just a chill dude. Someone did remind me to, like, read the keys itself, so I will do that. Thanks for the tip. We usually don't, just because they're kind of self-explanatory, but you never know, I guess. Raging loop? Raising loop. Why is that spelled weird? Maybe loop as lupine. I have finally become a wolf, but there are things I can only see from this perspective. It seems the brainwashing doesn't work on me, so we can't avoid killing and try breaking the law. When I suggest that, Haru, who advocated adhering the law, purged me. Perhaps it's impossible to avoid being a killer. It's nice to know the brainwashing just doesn't do anything to us, though. Alright. Let's get the other bad end. That really wasn't... Okay. Massacre. Kill them all.
僕らは狼だ。狼は読み人を皆殺し。
結局そうでしょ。
Oops.
僕はいい。あなたたちはそれでいいんだろうな。
Test them.
自分の大事なものが手にかかる瞬間、背中から刺したりは本当にしないんだろうな。僕はあなた方の信内明神に対する信心を疑っていません。
No, Haru is completely down for it. Kairi might actually, though.
神の一声で一切の人間性を失えるほど人でなしじゃないとも思ってる。もう一度問います。本当に殺しますが、いいんですね。
分かった。いいですよ。
She went and said it.
では、香織さんは
わかったわ。
じゃあ、
My words were cut off, and so was my breathing. What?
私たちは
Base
自
Kaori.
分たちを殺すべきだったんだわ。
Are we gonna have to kill Kairi to progress? An intense heat or cold in my back.
そうすれば読みより落ちて
Honestly, Base, she's like, I'm not wolfing it up. I'd rather die. Holy. When the sensation was put out of my body, I began to feel my life leave me.
そうすれば母としてあの子たちを手にかけずに済む。
I understood that she was stuck between a rock and a hard place, but I didn't expect it to be so bad that she'd resort to such drastic measures. Not spaced. I clapped forward.
はるちゃん
Yeah, don't forget about Haru. She's dangerous.
していてね。
That was the last thing I heard as I choked on my own blood and breathed my last. Had I chosen the wrong way to go about it? How could I have convinced her? My questions faded with my consciousness. The classic double bad end. Hariti. Don't even know what that means. Alright, one more trip to the sheep. Hopefully our last trip to the sheep this episode. See what he's bawling about.
やっちまったな大将しかしここも割と理不尽系だ気に病むことはねえので チャキチャキヒントを受け取ってくれ。今回のバッドエンド20
Swift maternal death. It's a good one. Good title.
シナリオチャートを見ての通り、今回手に入ったキー17だけだと鍵を開けるのはまだ無理なんだ。まあこれまで何度かあったパターンだな。通り一遍の解決策を試さなきゃ思いつかねえような策が必要なのさ。キーを探すにしろ使うにしろ、戻り先は6、暗黒の。
Basically the same thing.
今回はここまで。次も元気に死んでこい。
Alright, leader sheep. What will he do? I think you either have to maybe say you won't kill her sons, or say it's a mercy killing because they're Yomi Bito and they're be better off dead or something. I think that's the answer. There we go. Oh, let's read the tea. Let's read the tea. Hariti. I have finally become a wolf, but there must be things I can only see from this perspective. To be a wolf means murder is unavoidable. After telling her that, my supposed ally Tyra killed me. I'm glad wolves can be virtuous, but getting killed isn't my idea of fun. What should I do? Trick them. If I insisted on killing, the mother snapped, and if I insisted on not killing, it was the girl. That experience made it impossible for me to choose either. The Locos should have at least had the decency to harbor the same kind of madness. If I continued with this little tricks, it'd lead to problems in the future. I also wanted to find a scenario in which I didn't die. Thus, I decided to spend this timeline fulfilling the role of the wolf. Also, it seemed easier to create a full fanatic out of a doubter than to correct an unwavering zealot. In this case, sure. I have to make Kairi-san kill her sons. For that, I needed a good story.
信じてもらえるかどうかわからないですが、
She needed a story that could match the absurd legends.
僕はね、この村を救いに来たんです。
Taking the Rikako story from last route. It had to be like entertainment and seem like fiction, like something Rikako would like, sadly.
救いに来た。
They lended an ear to me. I had it in the bag now.
信じられないかもしれませんが、僕にはなんというか普通の人には見えないも
I'm
の
a
が少しだ
spirit
け見え
medium.
るんです。そのせいでいろいろ面倒もありましたけどね。今はこの力を使って面倒ごとの解決を請け負う仕事をしてるんです。
じゃあ世を儚なんだって話は。
嘘です。若者が死のうとしてるって話は田舎では受けるんですよ。潜入調査が必要なことが多いんでね。今回は上藤吉のとある方の依頼でここに来たんですけどね。
誰よ、長者？
ええ、誰か詳しくは言いませんけどね。安水という場所に昔から怪奇現象があるから調査してくれと。そこで潜入してみたら、案の定誰も彼もが人ならぬものになり果てていた。
Oh, it's saying that everyone here is Yomi Bito. Kairi-san
彼
gasped.
らにはその自覚はない。この安
This might actually be real though.
あの世との境界が
And he doesn't know it,
あなたたちは
which is funny.
それに気づかない。だけど一度霧が出たらもうおしまいだ。偽の平和は終わり、黄泉に落ちた人たちと争わなければならなくなった。それが山の神神内明神の望み。僕らが昨晩まみえた人心老面の神の望みのようですね。
どうしてそんなことに。
The truth was less important than the ties to their real story.
元より安水はそういう場所だ。ここの食べ物を食べていれば、いずれ身も心も
Damn.
世
What
の
if
ものに
Shemi
なる
was cooking in the first route? And we shouldn't have eaten the food, but it doesn't matter because we were still looping without eating the food, so.
神内明神のかつてのお守りもそうなった。かの神は霧が立つたび蘇ってくる彼らを撃退せねばならない。
それならなんでこんな回りくどいことを？
かの神がひどく弱くなっているから。
That surprised them both.
神内様が弱い。
ええ。何しろ落ちたお守りを奉ずる四長者にこの山は支配されている。彼らも真相は知らないんだろうね。自分たちの祖がすでに主神を背いて黄泉におもねっているなんて。いずれは根本的に彼らも対処しないといけないでしょう。しかしまずは生き残らないと。
上藤吉もみんな読み人なの？
いや、あくまで休みずに暮らす皆だけが読み人のようだ。あなたたちはその中で唯一の人間。
Okay.
その理由は
Convenient.
わからないけど、
You're humans, but the sons you bore are Yomibito somehow.
いや、香織さん、あなたもともとここの人間じゃないですね。聖火のもっと北の
Lore
土
we
地の
learned
つな
from
がりが
another route,
あ
I'm
なたを
guessing.
引き止めてる。
なんでわかったの？
一瞬見えたんですよ。
I saw it. That was a lie, but as someone experiencing these loops, I could easily simulate the supernatural phenomenon of knowing things before they were told to me.
じゃあ私は？
君は正直言っていいか迷うな。
I was honest this time. She'd survived going to Yasumizu 8 years ago, that alone was special enough, but would she be okay to hear it? I would just buy some time.
とりあえずこれは没収ね。
I took a small, sharp grass sickle from her hand. It didn't seem like a supernatural power exactly, but I just needed to look skilled.
よそ者である僕が神内明神の
That
掟に
works.
背くんじゃないか。もしそうなら殺さなくてはってとこかい。
どうして？
You're a
荒
wizard.
事にも慣れてるからね。あと香織さんも最悪その辺の包丁で暴れてやろうかって思ってるでしょ。
そんなことないわよ。
いいや、あなたの心の中
Demonic
には
goddess.
そのようなこう思う鬼面の神が潜んでいます。
What the hell was I saying? They were intently listening to me at least.
強く正しい神だが
Eh? Good,
今は
putting
あ
on
な
a
たを
good
盲目
act.
にしている。子供たちを害したくない一心で真実から目を背けさせている。
それは
外来者である僕が信頼できない気持ちはわかりますが、僕はこの通りあなたたちの味方だ。読み人にこうするためのスキルと経験もあるし、そのために最初にすべきことも分かってる。香織さん、
いやよ。あの子たちがいなければ私の人生は何だったのよ。
今言うべきことじゃないのは承知してますが、織部香織さん、彼らの人生は本来旦那さんやその他藤吉村に奪われたもの、失ったものの代替品でもない。
あなたどこまで？
あなたの右肩に旦那さんがいます。ああ、義継くんによく似てらっしゃる。
She began crying loudly. What a cliche act this was.
彼らは自分たちが黄泉に落ちたことも知らず、ただ自分たちの魂を汚し続けています。彼らの魂は無言の涙を流し続けている。あなたは母親として彼らを救う義務がある。そういう風に思うことはできませんか？あなたは生きてここを出て自分の人生を歩むべきだ。旦那さんも。
私はこれまでろくに母らしいこともしないで。
誰も責めはしません。
分かっていたわ。私が本当は自分のためにあの子たちを育てて縛り付けようとしているって。義継にそばで守ってもらって、安永に外に連れ出してもらいたいって。私に才覚がなくてこんなところから抜け出せないからって。
I looked at Haru-chan, worried she might pull something, but she just shrugged a bit.
私のせいであの子たちは変にお互いを意識して悩んでる。それも知ってる。
Oops. And sorry,
どうすれ
Tyree.
ばいいのか。
I had no idea that Tyree-san was hiding such weakness under her motherly strength. I had to ignore my guilt over taking advantage of it.
彼らだって悪くはない。かりそめの平穏の中で安水の苦境にあえぎながら立派に成長した。でももうおしまいなんです。夢が悪夢に変わる前に終わらせないと。誰も悪くない。誰も恨めない。これはいわば世の断りに巻き込まれた災難です。
It'd be horrible if that was true, honestly. I silently hoped that my lie wouldn't become reality. I also felt that the root of all evil for her in my story were the Higuchi. They'd sent her here after all, but I kept quiet about it. Anyway, my story seemed to have captured her completely.
一つだけお願いがあるわ。
何でしょう。
I had to give her something to help her gather her resolve.
どうせやるなら早くあの子たちを早く先に。
I mean, I don't mind killing Yasunada early. It's a little risky if the spider's smart. That wouldn't be good for us. If we made the killings personal, someone would notice. Taking out Yasunada at the start was one thing, but following it up with Yoshitsuru-kun, yeah, that would look bad. Would she even stay sane with them gone?
でも香織さん、
いいじゃないですか、それで。
Haru-chan just silently listened for most of my story, but now she made herself an obstacle?
香織さん、そうでなきゃ私たちとは一緒にやれない？
私はあの子たちを楽にしてあげたい。
Well, maybe Yoshitsuru's gonna die from corruption tonight anyways, so we won't have to worry about it.
そういうこと。そうだったんだわ。私はそうすべき。今はっきりわかった。そうしてくれないなら私は私でそのように動くわ。
らしいけど。
If Kairi-san let her emotions take over and acted independently, she'd most likely put us in a terrible situation. She'd probably prepare food with aconite, Kyonosuke she would notice, and she'd be hanged. That'd be no use to us. She could also use more messy methods, but no matter what they were, they'd have minimal effect. Violence needed to have perfect timing and force behind it. In that sense, Chimi's rampage last time was perfect. Yeah, exactly. That was a goated rampage.
あなたは間違いなく疑われるだろ
構わないわ。私はそれでくくられて
Well, we mind.
構わない。
う。あなたは外に出るべきだと。旦那さんも。
いくらあの子たちやあの人がそう願ってくれても、きっとあの子たちを手にかければ私は耐えられない。
僕らも困る。狼が一人減れば命が3分の1削れる
Yeah,
の同
it's
じ
the
なんで
big
す。
thing. But
ただし
if
あなたの死に方を僕らに任せてくれるなら
then
協力しましょう。
this was awful.
ええ、構わない。
It was awful. I was awful. This team was awful.
今あなたの旦那さんは見えなくなりました。
あなた、ごめんなさい。
Crap. To Kairi-san, her sons were basically a replacement for her husband. What she wanted now was basically a forced group suicide alongside her sons. That was the compromise, the overlap between the laws of the mountain and her ego. Why were humans so hard to manipulate?
それでは今日は安
Oh,
永
I don't even let you play, man. But I want to kill Nosato. He's acting so snake-like. And he probably already knows we're werewolf.
ええ、
はるちゃんはいいのか。
仕方ないじゃないですか。兄ちゃんは読み人なんだし。
はるちゃんは安永のことを好いてくれてたのでしょ。
お兄ちゃんとしてね。香織さんが亡きにするって決めたならわがままは言わないよ。
いい子ね。ごめんなさいね。
Everyone in Yasumizu was a good person. Maybe not the old wolf guy. He's kind of sketchy. I wasn't, and to me they seemed completely insane. Mamiya-san had probably felt similarly last time. That was why she died like that. And I had no intention to follow her footsteps. I decided that I would survive, and if that required me to become the best wolf, so be it. The three of us went through the mist. The wolves parted the gray, cloudy air. It felt like I was in a plane that flown into a cloud at night. We were careful, spreading water to keep the beasts at bay, trying not to trip or fall into the fields. Haru-chan and Kairi-san were probably just being considerate of me, though. Without me, they might have gone ahead quickly and without hesitation. Not just because they were familiar with the land, but also because they seemed just about dangerous enough. They seemed like if they decided on it, they could march straight to their grave. We were heading to the dorm. The disgusting deal with Kairi-san left us with few options to choose from. Though getting rid of Yasunari-kun wasn't a bad choice. Yeah, at least he's like a good target to kill. Unless the spider protects him, then we're kind of boned, man. Or we'll be at a huge disadvantage. But they usually protect Kanzo, night one. Like, literally, well, only one time, because Kanzo was the spider in the first round. He was extremely supportive of Hashimoto-san, so without him, the cameraman would lose some of his influence. And by shutting Hashimoto-san up, we would damage Mamiya-san too. I already knew Takumi-san and Kanzo-san's weaknesses. I had to worry about Shimi's hidden true nature. As for Rikato-san, honestly, I felt that if I did the same things as last time, she would side with me again. The rest weren't very influential, though. I just had to be careful that they didn't go hysterical or on a rampage. My biggest concern right now was Mochi. It seemed entirely likely that he would know who the wolves were on gut instinct alone. Wouldn't he do something weird if he found out Haru-chan was a wolf? Though right now I was merely considering the kind of people they were, not the guardians they might have had. I could only hope that they went to Mako or the old wolf guy. It's definitely not Mako again. I mean, it could be, because she got Monkey and Spider in the 2 routes, but considering they, like, mix it up, the only, like, possible option she could have is Snake, which I don't think so, and Crow, which is maybe. That made them harder to control. Something about Takumi-san was bugging me too.
俺はまだ死ねない。あ、待って。一応注意。カゴを持っている人は注意
Maybe
した方がいい。
Takumi gave a tell. I didn't even notice that. I can't die yet. He was attached to Yasumizu because of Tai-san and Kari-san, and he had a sense of responsibility as the local young leader. When you consider that, him saying that he couldn't die right now didn't really make sense. That meant that he had a guardian. Yasunaka had realized it too, so he jumped into the conversation just like he'd done for me last time. On the first loop, Takumi-san had revealed that he was a snake on the very first day. What if that was about to happen again? He's not the snake. It'd be really dumb if he was a spider and he was about to announce that, though. Mochi was a monkey back then, and he was one now too. That is weird, actually. Mochi double dipping for monkeys. Though everything else was different. Back then, the other monkey had been Mako. However, if there were some sort of rules for deciding who would get the guardians, it wasn't unlikely that they would get the same ones. I just assumed it was random. But if he were the snake, I'd kill him and pass myself off as his guardian. I can't believe he doesn't suspect Nosato, man. Such an easy read. It might be a bait, but I'm biting that bait, man. We would gain a huge advantage. It was worth considering at least.
着きましたよ、房石さん。
As I thought to myself, we arrived in front of the dorm. I could see the misty moonlight and moonlight accentuating the building's outline. For whatever reason, I already smelled blood. It reminded me of Haru-chan and Kairi-san's brutalized bodies. That sure was terrible. Those murders, ridiculed and laughed at humanity to the fullest extent. I wanted to have my boundaries when it came to that at least. That sentiment came to mind,
血だわ。
and faded as soon as Kairi-san said that. She was pointing at the stairs to the dorm. There was blood all over the rusty metal stairs. Someone got sniped by corruption. Why? Why was this here? Whose blood was this? Did someone forget to shelter? Where were their corpses then? Visibility was as poor as ever, but I looked around for something humanoid on the ground. A few seconds later, I finally noticed that someone was standing just a few meters ahead. I gasped, and the other wolves only noticed a few seconds later. I quickly realized that the person there was Chemi Serizawa. She had something in hand. It was a sawed-off double-barreled shotgun. What's she cooking, man? When you considered her madness, it made sense. She could totally underestimate the corruption and put herself on the line to kill all the wolves by herself. It was also worth mentioning that she had a gun, a rarity here in Japan. She stood a way better chance than Yoshitsugu Oribe, whose courage only got him torn to pieces. We were only human, and that gun could kill us instantly. I hadn't predicted this. I was off guard. Right as Haru-chan and Kairi sensed real, she raised her arm. Honestly, I was impressed. She managed to stay unpredictable every single loop. I wouldn't have stood a chance against her if I didn't have my looping. She was a joker to me. A bloody, merciless joker. Alright, I had clearly lost this time. I had to do better next time. At that moment, her lips moved. A flash. What I saw wasn't the Reaper, but a smile lost to a crimson explosion. She shoot herself? At that moment, I wasn't able to do anything but stand in place completely frozen. The two behind me shrieked and clutched my shoulders, but I ignored them. Chemi had just committed suicide. With a mischievous smile, she put the shot-off shotgun in her mouth and blown her head off from the job. It was insanity. This time she'd gone way beyond whatever I could imagine. What was this? What was this feeling of loss? Was I feeling it because I wouldn't see her ever again in this loop? Was it the despair at the fact that part of my brain was actually thinking, crap, we wasted one night's worth of murders? Oh. Does that count? Because that's a sick play. Or
春明さん
was it the fact that
にはならないで
I would never be able to ask her what she said?
どういうことなのねえ夫妻さん知恵ねえが知恵ねえが
もう、今日は
That's a big cock
殺
block.
せない。
I don't know if she did it because she knew we were a werewolf, or she did it because she predicted that like someone would try to kill Yasunada or Mochi, and she was basically just camping out here, and if they chose to kill them, she would sacrifice herself to save them. Either way, Chad move. And then
一世に一人の掟。もう殺せない。きっと彼女は加護者じゃない。自ら犠牲を買って出ることで、今日、人の側の有用な人物が殺されることを
holy, that's
防いだ。
crazy, man. Wasn't expecting that. If anything, if I was then that surprise was we would get blocked by the spider, but this is a different kind of block.
おそらく、彼女はただの人。おそらく、自分にできる最
They
大の
might be
貢献が
crits,
これ
man.
だと
I don't know. The
判断して
human team seems cracked this time. Why can't the human team be cracked when we're part of the team?
じゃあ今日は
安永君は殺せません。
そんな
仕方ないよ香織さん二人以上の血を流せばあなたの
You'll die
望みも
before
叶
you
え
get
ら
to
れな
kill
くなる
Yoshitsuru, too.
してやられましたね。乾杯です。
Why didn't she just shoot us, though? Or was she just not... Would it have not worked? Or did she really? I felt like I still couldn't match her in cunning no matter how hard I tried. I stayed still for a decent bit, just looking at her immobile remains within the mist.
それでは、手はず通りに。
はいみちみち気をつけておやすみなさい
It sucks, because then we're gonna have to try to kill Yasunada the next night. I want to choose, man! I was kind of excited to werewolf it up. Gameplay-wise, we couldn't just stand here, so for now, we returned to the dining hall and talked. My body was completely wet, but since I had worn the costume for so long, I'd actually began sweating, so taking off the mask was way too refreshing. Then, when it was time to return, Haruchan and I once again put on the mask and left the dining hall fully equipped. There was almost no water in the bucket by this point, but honestly, since our costumes were so wet, it wasn't likely that the bringers of corruption would attack us.
こ
Sleepy
こまで
time.
でいいそこの坂から登ったら工事現場だから
Haruchan said that right in front of the dorm. Her tone was uncaring as always, but her words seemed to express some consideration.
大丈夫かい？あそこには、
知恵ねえの死体
ああ、君は苦手じゃないのか？
苦手だけどというか得意だったらやばいしでも夜だし
So what? I didn't get her reasoning, though I could kind of relate to her.
じゃあ、手はず通りにね。
わかった
ちょっとは頼りになりそうかい？
They probably planned something for the meeting.
まあうんそうかも
Was that enough to ensure that all went fine from tomorrow onwards? I was worried, but I had no choice but to keep on going.
じゃあ、
I turned around.
あ
A voice from behind stopped me. I turned back at her. She was standing there, still clad in her smallish wolf outfit. Like before, I couldn't see her face, but I felt that something was off. What was off? You'll find out next time, since we're reaching the hour mark. I know. Gotta hit you with a cliffhanger sometimes. Anyways, good episode though. Didn't really go how I was expecting our first night as a wolf, but It is what it is. We gotta make compromises to keep everyone in line, right? But yeah, thank you for watching as always, and we'll see how the feast goes tomorrow. Well, if we get there. Or, not tomorrow, whatever. The next episode. If we even get there, who knows what the aftermath's gonna be. See if anyone else just died from corruption. Because that would be really good. Usually Yoshitsuru would, but maybe he got, like, motivated from all the talks and Hashimoto-san's aura or whatever. So I'm actually gonna assume he's not gonna die tonight. They're probably all gonna, like, chill just because of the vibes that were given. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.